Chiquita and welcome to the very first episode of Cooked by Chiquita. Today we'll be making cheese stuffed meatballs with pasta. You will need 500 grams of mince, some cheddar cheese, tomatoes, mushrooms, some basil, peppers, jalapeno or chili, fresh rosemary, garlic, Parmesan cheese, an egg, and breadcrumbs to bind everything. And of course, you will need your pasta. I used rigatoni in this recipe. Now, we will start by seasoning the mince, and obviously you'll start with your salt, some black pepper. You can use as much black pepper and seasoning as you'd like. Some barbecue spice. I used about a tablespoon of barbecue spice. Then you'll chop 1 clove of garlic. In actual fact, it doesn't even have to be 1 clove, as much garlic as you'd like to have on your mince. You must be careful of not chopping your fingers off here, guys. And your garlic doesn't really have to be too fine. You can just dice it enough to be small blocks or so. But like I said, it depends on how you like it as well. Now you will chop your jalapeno or some chili. It can be red or green chili, doesn't really matter. You then chop your rosemary. I really prefer my rosemary very fine so that I don't really taste the stems and whatnot, so I just chop everything together really finely. Then you add your garlic, fresh herbs, and your chili all together in the mince bowl. You add your breadcrumbs so it's easier to bind and make it into balls. Also add 1 egg. You then mix everything together. Now guys, you don't really have to mix everything way too hard. You have to take it easy. Make sure it's properly mixed together because there's a raw egg in there, but you do not have to over mix everything. Make sure it's still a bit rough on the edges and it's a bit rustic in a way. Now, you're gonna take a little bit of the mince and make it into a ball. The size doesn't really matter, it's all up to you. So you will decide how big you actually want your meatballs to be. You can also use any type of mince for this recipe. Now, you're gonna make a small hole with the back of a spoon in the middle of the meatball and stuff it with cheddar cheese. Again, you can use any type of cheese in this recipe. I just like cheddar cheese. Repeat this with the rest of your meatballs and make sure that they're covered properly and that the cheese is covered properly inside the meatball. Repeat the step with all your meatballs and put them in the fridge just so they can hold their shape. This will make it easier to fry them. Now, I have used a mixture of mushrooms here. There's some white button mushrooms and some brown mushrooms. You can use any type of mushrooms that you like. Chop them up into slices. Peel and dice your onion. Again, you don't have to chop it too fine. You can just use the consistency that is best for you. Be careful of chopping your fingers off once again. Now, for your pepper, you can just thinly slice it or you can dice it. It really doesn't matter the shape of your peppers. I just chose to thinly slice them in this case. Finely chop your basil. Now, for your tomatoes, you're just gonna chop them up. I used baby and cherry tomatoes here, a little bit of some yellow tomatoes as well. You can even use canned tomatoes in this recipe. Melt some butter and put in your meatballs. Fry them in some butter. You do not have to put all your meatballs at one time. And make sure you turn them around. Fry your meatballs for 2 minutes on each side. Make sure that they do not burn, but they brown in color. Take them out and fry the rest of the meatballs. In the same pan, add some butter and saute your onions. Now, add your aromatics such as your garlic, your herbs, your rosemary, and your basil. Also add your red peppers. You can use red, yellow, or green peppers in this recipe. Let everything simmer and add your tomatoes. Mix everything together and let all the flavors just marry together. After about a minute or two, you add your stock. This can be chicken or beef stock. Let it simmer for about 3 minutes until the sauce reduces and becomes thick and nice and saucy. Now, add your mushrooms into the sauce. Mix everything together and let it simmer for about 3 minutes. Now you add your meatballs into the saucepan. Make sure your meatballs are covered in that amazing sauce. Now for the pasta, you bring some water to a boil. Season it with some salt. Add a little butter. And then you add your pasta. Make sure you stir the butter all the way around. Some people use cooking oil or olive oil. I just use butter for the flavor. Keep checking until al dente and drain the water after 5 minutes. Your pasta should be nice and al dente. Now keep checking your meatballs and make sure that your sauce is on a medium heat. To plate, you'll need some extra cheddar cheese, some parmesan, and I've got some blue cheese. You honestly don't have to have blue cheese for this recipe. I was just being a little extra. Plate up your pasta. Now, plate your meatballs. Look at that amazing creamy tomato sauce. Now this is the part I enjoy the most. Add a little bit of cheddar cheese on your meatballs, just so it can be extra cheesy. And what is pasta without parmesan? And like I said with the blue cheese, I was just being a little extra. You really do not have to have it for this recipe. I just love the taste of blue cheese, especially with pasta. And we are done. There we go. Well, thank you so much for watching, and please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below on any other recipes you'd love to see on my channel. My name is TUMI CHIKITA, and this is Cooked by Chiquita.